I could have overlooked the massive plot holes if the ending would have been better. The Mummy, the 2017 version, starring Tom Cruise, Sofia Boutella, Annabelle Wallis, Russell Crowe, Jake Johnson, and directed by Alex Kurtzman. The latest reimagining of the horror classic has Sofia Boutella as the title character. She makes a pact with the god of death, which I thought was Anubis, but they use a different god for this movie. The god is supposed to give her power to rule, but before she can seize power, she is captured and mummified alive, and then entombed, far away from Egypt for its protection. Flash forward thousands of years, and Tom Cruise's character, Nick, Soldier of Fortune, uncovers her tomb and unleashes her wrath upon the world. The movie overall is a mess. There is way too much exposition at the start of the film and during the middle. It has a gaping, massive plot hole through the entire movie, and the ending left me shaking my head. This being said, I was having fun watching the film right up until the finale. The pacing of the story was well done and never boring. The mummy zombies found in the movie were the right amount of terrifying to be enjoyable. Tom Cruise is great as usual, and Sofia Boutella is amazing as the mummy. In the end, they didn't have a good enough story to turn this version of the mummy into a great film. There is still much to be hopeful for in Universal's dark universe. Russell Crowe was good as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and he has one scene in the film that is fantastic. There probably should have been more story focusing on him and his mission, but this was Tom Cruise's show. Tom's character Nick was supposed to be a scoundrel with a heart of gold, but Cruise is just too likable to pull this off. There was never a point when I felt he was truly a rogue, and this played into the big problem I had with the ending of the film. He is still great in the movie, but when you combine the ending and the fact the major plot hole also is centered around his character, they should have thought of a better story for Cruise. It is still good to have him and his character in the universe, but his introduction could have been handled better. The story does focus on Cruise, but more emphasis could have been put on Boutella's mummy. She was a big part, but a few more scenes with her making zombie mummies and ransacking London would have been welcome. The face sand scene, however, was over the top and not needed. I think they may have put it in just to get the requisite Tom Cruise running scene. There was no purpose for giving her this power, and it didn't affect anything in the plot. If they cut out this portion and just added in more zombie chases, it would have had the same effect. Maybe they thought they needed a change of pace, but the over-the-top CG scene didn't land well. Everything else with the mummy was great, and there was some good horror pieces with her character. I think a few more scenes using Boutella's action abilities would have been welcome. She has proven to be a great action star in Kingsman and Star Trek. This would have been welcome over the one CG fest. There are good parts to The Mummy, but the flaws outweigh the fun I had watching it. The characters were interesting in the film, but some didn't fit into the scripted story. The action was good, but there were scenes which weren't needed. The concept of the mummy was awesome, and the zombies in the movie were great minions for her to use. The story about how she was created was interesting, but they created a major plot hole with how Cruise's character played into this narrative. There are parts to a good movie, and it is watchable. It is just disappointing in many aspects of its execution. The ending of the film is its greatest sin. It just doesn't make sense or fit into the story being told. I understand why it ended this way, but because of how the story unfolded, there is not an emotional tie or care with the end result. Universal was probably hoping for the dark universe to get off to a better critical footing. The box office for the movie might still be good if the property and Tom Cruise's star power can get people into the theaters. It might all hinge on the international box office for the movie to be profitable. I still think Universal will move forward with the dark universe, because it is a good idea, and could still make them buttloads of money. The talent they have acquired is impressive on the actor front. I just hope they're using some money to get some great screenwriters as well. This first installment of the franchise is worth watching on rental or when it finally comes to paid cable. I wouldn't rush out to the theaters to see it unless you're a big Monsters fan or a big fan of Tom Cruise. Hopefully Bride of Frankenstein rights the Dark Universe's ship. What did you think of The Mummy if you went out and saw it? What Dark Universe movie are you looking most forward to, if any? Comment and let me know. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching.